Good morning, I hope you're all well. So I've come out this morning to get some milk, but I figured I'd make today's Q&A a little bit more interesting by filming it by a river in the countryside. So here you go. Okay, so I've got the milk. Let's do a Q&A. Well, actually I'm going to set up a time lapse over there first because it's really, really pretty down here. I mean, look at that. We're right next to a flowing river. I don't know which river it is, possibly the Idle, not sure. If you look over here, those right there, those are the cows that the milk comes from. How amazing is that? So excuse me for just 2 minutes while I get the time lapse set up. Right, that'll do. It's Q&A time. So, first of all, thank you to everyone who sent in questions. As always, I really appreciate it. I love doing this. This is one of my favourite parts of the week now. And if you do want to ask me a question for next time, leave me one in the comments. Doesn't matter what it is, the more weird and wonderful the better, as you're about to see from this week's questions. Okay, so the first question is from my friend Marty. Hello Marty, again. Great questions, as always. What instrument that you play are you proudest of learning, or was the most difficult? I can answer that straight away. The piano. Technically, I've been playing the piano since I was 6 years old. I've been practicing the piano for about a year. So when I first started playing the piano, it didn't really come very naturally to me. It wasn't until I was about 11 years old when I really got it. I had a fantastic teacher. He was a fantastic teacher, honestly. He was the best teacher in the world as far as I'm concerned when it comes to music. He taught me how to improvise, and he taught me for about 10 years. And I had that classic student-teacher relationship where I didn't really appreciate how much good he was doing for me at the time. And it wasn't until I was about 11 that I properly got into jazz piano and stuff like that and found my niche in the area that I really wanted to work on. But sorry, I just keep getting really distracted by how pretty it is. Genuinely, look at this. I mean, so nice, so nice. But yeah, back to the question. I've always found it really, really challenging. I've actually got very, very small hands. So people always say, oh, you haven't really got piano fingers and all that kind of stuff. And you're right. And it hasn't necessarily stopped me from playing. But I have found it very, very challenging over the years. And I still find it challenging now. I have to work at it every day. But that really gives you a sense of accomplishment. Guitar came a lot more naturally to me, but I didn't start that until I was 13 anyway, and I got that musical knowledge from the piano. But definitely from like 13 to now, I've practiced the guitar pretty much every day, whereas piano, I've had to get into a bit of a groove with it. Good question, Marty, I really like that. And another question from Marty. If you had to move to a big city to continue your career, to what city would you move? You know what, I genuinely don't know. I've never actually planned to do this. I've never thought, oh, I'd like to move to London, I'd like to move to New York, I'd like to move to Milan, you name it. I haven't really thought about that. The thing that I've always said is that my job means that I can work anywhere. And at the moment, I'm content here. If an opportunity came up somewhere else and it was the right opportunity, I would go there, absolutely. This will always be my home. Doncaster will always be my home. But like any opportunity, if it's a good one, you take it. So, of course there are cities where I'd like to live. I'd love to live in Italy, and it would be wonderful. But I think that's more of like a holiday retreat type thing rather than a work thing. So no city in particular, but if the opportunity was right, I would go there. A question from Josh. Hey Josh, thanks for the question. Who is your favourite YouTuber? Now, at the moment, my favourite YouTuber, sorry, there's literally a plane. Look at this. Here's me thinking I've picked idyllic surroundings and there's like planes flying over. But we do live near an airport, so there is that. And also, again, just so distracted by how pretty it is. Sorry, Josh, your question was, who's your favourite YouTuber? My favourite YouTuber, without a doubt, is Casey Neistat. And it's not just because of how good he is at what he does, but it's because of the rawness, it's the honesty. You can see from the professional work that he does and the work he does for other people that he's very, very good at what he does. He's very technically skilled. But when it comes to his vlog, he manages to create something entertaining and technically very, very good. And also very honest and very, very raw. The thing that I like about it is the amount of times he drops his camera. It's one of these things where when I first started making videos, I was very precise and I made sure I cut things at the right time. Whereas he's inspired me to be like, well, if I've dropped the camera or the footage isn't that great, it's still part of the story, keep it in. So definitely Casey Neistat, my favourite YouTuber, 100%. Which is not why I wear the sunglasses actually. I always feel like I wear sunglasses by default, and when you're driving at this time of year, people will know who drive that the sun is always right in your eye line and it can get quite dangerous, but I definitely don't need them now. It's quite an overcast day. And a question from Lily, thank you for the question again. What new music is frequenting your ear holes at the moment? What a great way of phrasing that. In a really big way, I've actually got into the 1975, and I'm not talking about necessarily their new stuff, I'm talking about stuff that's been out for years and years. I mean, I'm always late to the party with literally everything, films, television, music. I never seem to be on trend with that kind of thing. But Ed Templar, my good friend Ed Templar, actually recommended that I listen to some of their stuff, some of their new tracks, and it's made me go back and listen to the older stuff. So, listening to a lot of that. I'm also listening to a lot of Disney soundtracks, really into that at the moment. Still Hunchback, but also going back and listening to the songs from Toy Story. Me and my friend Will were talking about this last night. The song from Toy Story 2, you know the one I mean, the really sad one, which really gets to me. And sometimes as a musician you have to listen to that stuff and sort of dissect it and go, why is this pulling at my heartstrings? What's so amazing about this? And I still haven't worked that one out, but after that, I'm sure everyone was exactly the same with Toy Story 2. You go to your childhood toy and you make sure it's not been thrown away, you know. Also, the reimagined Greatest Showman stuff is fantastic. Pink singing A Million Dreams, there we are, I should know that, is very, very good. And the Brendan Urie and Panic at the Disco version of The Greatest Show is unbelievable. I'm trying to work out a way to get that into my live set, actually. That's the end of my questions for this week, actually. But I really don't want to move from here. I'm feeling pretty relaxed. Such a nice view. I really hope the time lapse has gone well. I obviously don't know until I watch it back. And also I've got this milk, so my cups of tea for the rest of the day are going to be amazing. So thank you as always for the questions, and as I was saying earlier, leave me a comment, ask me a question. Doesn't matter how weird and wonderful it is, I love doing this. Like I've said before, I think one of the most wonderful things about the internet is keeping this open line of communication, and I think the Q&A is a really good way of doing that. That is the first time I've climbed onto a jetty to get B-roll, and I suspect it won't be the last. So I'm back at my desk now. I really wish I was actually still out there, sat by the river in the sunshine, but alas, the work calls. As some of you will know, Wednesday's a really busy day for me. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to call it a day there. I've got so much to do. But thank you to everyone who sent in a question, and of course, leave your questions in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow.